For the next 30 minutes, we invite you to be part of the conversation by calling 219-362-0522. And you can now text your questions to the Liquor Vault on-air line or by email to soundoff@967theeagle.com. This is a topic-based program, and we ask that you keep your comments brief, concise, and related to the topic being discussed. The views expressed on Sound Off are those of the host or callers and do not represent the opinion of 96.7 The Eagle, Spoon River Media LLC, or the sponsors. The Liquor Vault on-air line is now open for your calls or texts at 219-362-0522. This is Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Sound Off. My name's Nate Laux. It's good to have you with you on the show today here on Friday, August 12th. Today, we're going to be talking about sports. It's a Sound Off on Sports, and back in the studio, I've got Jim Peters from Jim Peters Sports, local sports journalist. He knows everything that I don't about local sports. How you doing today, Jim?
I'm all right. Thanks for having me back. Usually once people get a first impression of me, that's the last I ever see of them. You know, just ask my wife.
Hey, you're stuck with me now, buddy. It's good to have you.
That's okay. Good to be had.
It's good to have you here. So if you've got a question about local sports, local football, we're going to talk about high school football, these kind of things, feel free to call in, 219-362-0522. Are you excited about this upcoming season? A little nervous? What do you want to know? Again, that number is 219-362-0522. You're welcome to call me or text me. You can also email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com. All right, I think the question that many people are wondering is, you know, we had a LaPorte Slicers team that struggled last year, 2-8, had some injuries, but also lost some good talent from a 2-8 team.
Right.
Good rusher, these kind of thing, good running back, good linebacker. What can fans expect out of the LaPorte Slicers team this year?
I think I'll be very vague, like Bob James was, just in terms of specific expectations.
Sure.
He's not going to put numbers down, but it's going to be a team that's going to really get after it. He likes to use the phrase, play like our hair's on fire. Wish I could.
Yeah, exactly.
Hair on fire. But
hate speech for people like you, right?
Right. Yeah. Maybe my feet, not my hair, but or former hair. But anyway, you have a really nice quarterback with R.J. Anglin and some nice defensive kids. Brendan Balk. Lucas Del Rio's a real nice looking freshman, but here's a freshman playing at the
he doesn't know what he doesn't know yet, right?
Duneland Conference level, and Sam Pressler. You got some nice guys. The big question with LaPorte in large part is this is typically, and LaPorte better than I do, and it's always a place where it's like the top guys are typically offensive linemen. Mm-hmm. So you've had your exceptions with your Charles Salaries and and again Colin Bergquist, a real nice running back last year. But this has always been
Bob James's sons, right?
We have predicated on big beefy kids, and they're not really equipped that way this year. It so appears. So it's I think they'll mix it up a little bit differently and become a little more diverse offensively and do some things that way, and they'll go as far as RJ can take them, and mission number one is keeping him on his feet, and he can do a lot of things if he gets a reasonable opportunity to do so.
Yeah, that's got to make Bob a little bit nervous again here the first year. He's got an unproven offensive line, maybe a slightly smaller offensive line than he wants, and a good quarterback. But a good quarterback can't be a good. I'm a Bears fan. I know this. A good quarterback. We haven't had a good quarterback either, but still, a decent quarterback can't even be a decent quarterback if you don't have people that can block or keep the defensive line away from them. And the DAC is a tough conference. It's got some good defensive talent. It's got some big guys over, especially at Maryville and Valparaiso, these kind of things. And so it'll be tough for them. But it was such an interesting kind of way of coming about Bob James becoming coach, right? The community did something that I haven't seen often.
Right.
You essentially the community advocated for a coach. We want this guy to coach our team.
Right.
The there's this weird thing, though. LaPorte has a lot of high expectations, though,
Sure.
right? And so I get a little nervous for any new coach because, how do you set the right expectations?
Well, that's exactly right. And it's hard. And it's again, it's high school. He's not paid. Theoretically, they're not paid for their coaching success. These people are paid as educators, and they get a air quotes stipend to be coach, which basically comes out to about negative 5 cents per hour based on the amount of time that these people put in. So, but again, expectations are success is linked to high school coaches as well, even though it's not their first job per se. But the thing about high school sports, though, is you can kind of balance out the talent scale a little differently than you can at the college and the pro level. College and the pro level, talent is going to win the vast majority of time. In high school, intangibles can factor into it, togetherness, bonds, camaraderie, that sort of thing. A team really being connected, and that seems to be the case here. And you alluded to just all the process that went on with Bob becoming the coach, and how everybody backed that, and this was the guy everybody wanted, and rightfully so. And you've seen that so far with the group. I talked to a handful of kids yesterday. Not yesterday, Wednesday. Wrote it yesterday. Be in the paper tomorrow on their leadership council. They put together a group of players, 21, I believe it was.
Is this something new that they're doing?
He did it briefly when Dave Sharp was here. It didn't get traction at that time, but now that he's this is his team, he brought it back, and more player ownership. Basically, he said, "Hey, this is your team. I'm the head coach, but it's your team. It's not my team. It's everybody's team, not just the seniors. So everybody having a voice in it. Seniors all the way down to freshmen." Being having input. We'll meet on things as simple as decals and pregame routine, and as specific as post practice discipline for guys that you don't show up in the right socks. If you're 5 minutes late, or you missed weights or things like that, and the players will dole out the discipline now. It won't be the coach standing over the kids saying you run 15 laps or do 50 push-ups. It's the kids standing there doing it. So it's team led, and it's at its core it's teaching kids to be better people, and grand scheme type of things, which is great, which in essence is what high school sports is supposed to be all about. But also you'll have a benefit. You should, maybe not tangibly, but some way, shape, or form, this can help you on a Friday night when you're in a tough situation, and said, "Hey, I got your back." Somebody messes up, the guy's not got ripping on him, so it's okay, man, we'll get him next time, that sort of thing. And that, in some immeasurable way, shape, or form, that can be a factor. Maybe, I don't know if you can necessarily say it can win or lose games, but but it helps. It makes a difference, and it can. There's that glue, so to speak.
Yeah, we've got Jim Peters in the studio today. We're talking about Sound Off on Sports. We're talking local high school football. Next week begins the season, right? Next Friday, a week from today.
Officially, yeah. Scrimmages this evening. Michigan City's scrimmaging at New Prairie. LaPorte is hosting Northridge. South Central is going to John Glenn. But they start for real 1 week from today.
Yeah, and I'm sure the players don't feel like the season starts next week because they've been working.
Well, yeah, I mean it's practically year round now. There isn't really much downtime other than a moratorium week there in July. So the seasons are just they just kind of roll over from summer season to preseason to actual season to postseason and so on and so forth.
Well, if you have a question for us today, want to talk a little bit about local sports, we'd love to have you. 219-362-0522. You can call me or text me if you have a question about local high school football, or we will even get to some volleyball talk as well. Again, we've got Jim Peters here in the studio. We're going to take our first break. The Liquor Vault on-air line, though, is open. 219-362-0522. Call me, text me. We'd love to hear from you. But keep listening to 96.7 The Eagle.
For over 50 years, LaPorte has trusted Cannon's Automotive Service for prompt, efficient, same-day service. And that same Cannon's commitment extends to area businesses who rely on a fleet of one or many to take your goods or service to the customer. Whether it's the truck or trailer that needs maintained or fixed, trust Cannon's Automotive to maximize your productivity with same-day service. Now with 2 Cannon's locations, 710 Tyler Street and 909 Boyd Boulevard.
With Cannon's Automotive, we fix everything.
On to bigger and better places. That's right. Michigan City Kia has moved to a bigger and better location for our customers. Now located right off US Highway 20 in Michigan City. You can still expect the same great customer service, the same great deals, and the same great selection. Stop in and check out our growing inventory and shop sedans to SUVs to everything in between. Come see our new dealership today. Located right off US Highway 20. Visit MichiganCityKia.com.
You don't like buying a car this way.
Parents, as your children prepare to return to school, make sure they're up to date on routine immunizations. Vaccines help keep your child healthy, protect other students, and have even put an end to some diseases. So, before school begins, remember to start smart. Schedule your child's appointment today and make routine immunizations part of your back-to-school checklist. A friendly reminder from the Indiana Department of Health. Learn more at startsmart.health.in.gov.
Good news. Access to Surf Fiber Internet is growing in LaPorte. Faster and more reliable than cable. Get 1 gig speed with a free whole home Wi-Fi router for only $65 a month. There are no hidden fees, no contracts, and free installation. Surf Fiber Internet is building out more neighborhoods every day. So visit surffiber.com to check your address for service. That's surffiber.com. This is a limited time offer. Speeds may vary and some restrictions may apply.
Dave, you guys built a new deck.
Oh yeah, it was easy.
It's on a bit of a slant, but I can live with that.
Yeah, you think? I thought it looked pretty good.
I don't think that railing's up to code either. So, are we just going to stand here, or can we actually go on it?
Oh no, I don't trust it enough to actually go on it.
No offense to Dave, but if you want the job done right, contact Powerhouse Construction in LaPorte. Decks, patios, or kitchen and bath remodels, Powerhouse Construction will ensure your satisfaction. Call 219-380-9981 to book a free estimate. That's 219-380-9981. Powerhouse Construction.
LaPorte High School Slicer varsity football is on 96.7 The Eagle. The season starts August 19th as the Slicers travel to New Prairie to take on the Cougars. Slicer football proudly brought to you by Auto Body Specialties, MC Doors, O'Brien's Battery and Tire, All Star Autos, Raymond & Spence Insurance, Surf Internet, Back to Health Chiropractic, LaPorte Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Rosie Michaels of Coldwell Banker First Choice, and by Marsh Insurance Agency. Join Chip Jones and Steve Mattern for the call of every varsity Slicer football game all season long on your radio home for Slicer Sports, 96.7 The Eagle. Let's look at the forecast at 96.7 The Eagle, brought to you by the Pink Sheep Children's Boutique.
The charming and affordable Pink Sheep Children's Boutique has so many fun themes and styles for boys, girls, and moms. Come see for yourself. The Pink Sheep Children's Boutique, 604 Lincoln Way in downtown LaPorte.
Michiana weather.
76 this afternoon under partly cloudy skies, northeasterly winds around 5 miles per hour. Tonight, lows around 56. 81 tomorrow, slight chance for scattered showers. From the Weather Center at HometownNewsNow.com. Right now, 73.
Thank you for tuning in to Sound Off. You can now text or email your questions directly to the studio. Call or text 362-0522 or email your questions to soundoff@967theeagle.com. This is Sound Off.
Welcome back to Sound Off. Good to have you with us today on the show. We've got Jim Peters here of JimPetersSports.com. I encourage you to visit that site as well. He's got some great articles on there about local sports in Northwest Indiana. If you have a question, though, Liquor Vault on air line is 219-362-0522. You're welcome to call me or text me. You can also email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com. Hey, I want to talk a little bit about some of these other local teams. Let's talk briefly about New Prairie. New Prairie last year was 11-3, 3-2 in Northern Indiana Conference. Class 4A sectional and regional champions. Good team last year. Lost some players though, but they have Noah Munguia returning, who just runs for like thousands of yards a season. They've got Marshall Kamichik returning, 5, I think, offensive starters, 5 defense. What do you expect out of them this season?
They're still going to be very good. I mean, you don't graduate a Division I offensive lineman like Hunter Whiteneck, who's actually, from what his dad mentioned to me at the out at when I was taking pictures last week, he's already ascended to the number 2s as a true freshman at Illinois. He will. So he's an injury away from starting for a Big Ten team as a true freshman, and he'll be a 3-year starter. And then Adam Bohr, those guys were just huge. I mean, that was a college size offensive line.
Kids that would start on any team in Indiana,
they're
really,
gigantic.
just huge guys,
not just 300 pounds of humanity. These guys were athletes. They could move. I mean, Bohr was a catcher in baseball, and Hunter was a state one of the top heavyweights in the state in wrestling. Ben Frank didn't go on to play college football, but I mean he could have. He was an all-star, kicker, receiver, defensive back.
Did everything.
Right? the old gadget, the knife. Swiss Army knife? I'm sorry, I couldn't think of the cliche there. I only used it a million times, but they have a nice skill set. It remains to be seen maybe who a go-to guy will be in terms of pass catching. You have a nice slot guy in Dallas Ryans, but you don't have a 6'4" guy that you can just throw it up to and go get. And solid, always nasty demeanor defensively, and tough physical kids. Hey, it's New Prairie. They're gonna be rugged. They're gonna be blue collar. So they're going to compete night in and night out. And some interesting things happened to kind of open up that path for them last year. And by all rights, they should have been playing in Indianapolis for a state title and didn't quite get there. So there's a little bitter taste for that too. They feel now they can. That's the bar. They want to get back there. Every team has its own identity though, so there isn't necessarily one season doesn't beget the next, but there is momentum. They know they can do it, and they know they can get there, and they know they were that close, and it just slipped through their hands there. So they're fully capable. The big thing with them is they move over a sectional this year, so they're going to have to deal with Hobart and Lowell in their sectional this year, as opposed to the regional with the way it was last year. So they'll still be in the mix. It'll remain to be seen how some of those skill guys evolve. The pieces around that. But some really good quarterbacks in the county this year. Every school, South Central too, with Zach Hanchar, and Michigan City with Tyler Bush. I mean, it's a great
Tyler Bush,
tremendous quarterback.
Some Division I offers now. Michigan City last year was 9-4, right? 4-3 in the Doolin Class 5A sectional and regional champions as well. Returning starters 8, but they've got some real Division I talent on that team.
It's just silly talent. I mean, they're just athletes everywhere. It's crazy how the dichotomy in the county that way. It's like over here in LaPorte, you got big linemen. Then over in Michigan City, you got receivers and running backs and defensive backs. Jaden Hart's going to be a Power 5 conference player somewhere. And he's just a junior. Bush is a junior. They graduated all of their receivers, and they had some really good receivers who are playing in college now. Gio Laurent, Trace Simmons.
Okay.
Yeah, so some really good guys. Omarion Hatch went out to a junior college. There were some dudes, but you go out there and it's like it kind of looks like if you didn't know it wasn't them, you'd figure they were still there, because there's guys out there just flying up and down the field and high pointing footballs. And when you got a quarterback like that, you give him the pieces. He's got all the he and RJ are similar in regards to some some of their skill sets, ability to make every throw and accurate, throw on the move, throw long, short, on time, all those sort of things. The difference is, Michigan City's got they got dudes who can take it and go 80 yards, and LaPorte's going to be more of a move the chains type of team, and which is what they want to do: possess the ball, be able to get down the field methodically. Whereas Michigan City can hit you with a one play touchdown drive, in the drop of a hat. And very really young defensively, but Roy Richards is as good of a defensive coach as there is in the state of Indiana, and he'll put it together. And he's got guys, and they're going to fly around. And
if your team can get you 30 points a game, like that team can.
Well, and that's the thing about it, and that just feeds the momentum of the defense. When the offense is going to produce, you can go out there and you can take some chances, and they're going to take some risks, and maybe give up some plays, but at the same time they're going to create negative plays and turnovers. So they're extremely talented. They're a little smaller than they were last year, maybe not quite the physical element that they had before, but it's like they still have the tools to do a lot. And and the big thing for them is now Valparaiso and Chesterton are both in their sectional, along with LaPorte, and now Maryville's in 5A this year. So it's there isn't a Zionsville waiting at semi-state, but getting to semi-state, it'll probably be a little more difficult because you figure Maryville's going to reload with new names and faces, as they seem to be want to do the last few years. So that will be tough, but they're going to compete, and they're gonna do the things they've always done in terms of just being very dynamic and athletic and fast, and again quite a contrast to how LaPorte's going to have to get things done. But there's more than one way to be successful on the football field, and that's the beauty of it, and that's why coaches spend hours upon hours poring over film and trying to figure out ways to mask weaknesses and emphasize strengths.
Absolutely. We've got Jim Peters on the show today of JimPetersSports.com, and a local journalist as well for sports, for the Herald Dispatch, these kind of things. If you've got a question about local high school football or sports, 219-362-0522. We'd love to hear from you today. I also want to say, don't forget that 96.7 The Eagle does broadcast our LaPorte Slicers games on the radio live. So if you want to follow the LaPorte Slicers and you can't get to a game, please do listen online or on the radio at 96.7 The Eagle. Chip Jones will be reporting for you. Chip Jones and Steve Mannering will be reporting those games for you, and you can follow along right there. So our final team here in LaPorte County that we have not talked about yet much, South Central. I read an article that you wrote about South Central that Buzz Schoaf having a hard time getting some guys out there. Even they only have maybe 23, 25 players on that are playing the for his team, but he still seemed again maybe some rebuilding, but hopeful as well, some talent.
Yeah, they're capable of their conference is set up where they'll have a chance again to win their half of the GSSC. Their sectional got even tougher this year because Pioneer is in it now. So you have Pioneer along with Triton and North Judson, and but you got that was a really good senior class last year when you look at what those guys did in other sports with Brandon Young, Jacob Oman, Bryce Glissick, and I'm gonna miss some, but Tony Guevara. When you're talking basketball players and baseball players, that was a really good senior class. And when you lose a 10-person class at a school like South Central, and basically all of those guys were impact players. Yeah, that's tough because
the leadership alone is hard to lose, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. When I talked, I was out there yesterday for a story on Zach Hanchar, and it's like, well, last year as a sophomore quarterback, he was kind of just, I'll do what I do and just kind of don't get the seniors mad. This year now, he's a junior, he's looking around, and it's all juniors and sophomores, so a lot of young guys. He's going to be a nice player, but again, in his case, like we alluded to with LaPorte somewhat, it's the pieces around him that are kind of unproven, that will have to develop to help him out. And they're going to be like LaPorte in the sense that it's going to be he's going to get it and it's going to be one Mississippi boom. Get rid of the ball or that's kind of just the nature of it. Spread the field side to side. He's got some nice athletes, and Aaron Hogan's gonna be a nice player for them that they're gonna just get the ball out and move it around, and he feels like, hey, if we can be around 500, and that'll that's kind of the bar. It's kind of where things are at there, because there are some schools that they play are just bigger and more established than they are, and other ones, your Lake Stations, your River Forest, Boone Groves, Bishop Knoll. That's kind of their wheelhouse. So then a lot of it just comes down to their draw for their sectionals. So, but he's a tremendous coach. Obviously a LaPorte guy, player and part of the 14 team that went to state and part of that defensive coaching staff that year. So he's a good guy and does a solid job at a place where you've got to really squeeze the water out of the rock, so to speak.
When you got a limited roster and things like this, but it's a good reminder that sometimes you're not looking for an immediate 8-win season or anything from some of these coaches. You're looking for improvement. I know that's what Bob James is looking for. Not that you don't want wins, these kind of things. Well, we're going to take another break, our final break of the day. If you've got a question, 219-362-0522. You can call me or text me. I've got Jim Peters in the studio. We're talking about high school football, upcoming season, scrimmaging tonight. Season starts next week. If you've got a question, do give us a call or a text, 219-362-0522. We'll be right back here in just a few minutes on 96.7 The Eagle.
Ben Conowitz here, owner of LaPorte Seamless Gutter. My parents started LaPorte Seamless Gutter in 1982 with one goal in mind, really. Our customers' 100% satisfaction. And we are still providing the same customer service that Tim and Seal Conowitz started all those years ago. Give us a call today for a free estimate at 219-362-9972, or you can visit us on the web, www.lpseamless.com. 219-362-9972.
Hey, have you heard that Castle Ford in Michigan City is now your commercial vehicle center? If you're looking for a truck that works as hard as you do, then visit Castle Ford's Commercial Vehicle Center. From vans and passenger wagons to pickups and cutaways, Castle Ford in Michigan City has a tough and rugged vehicle that can meet your needs. Rough credit or no credit, Ford Credit provides flexible solutions to help get you the commercial truck financing you deserve. Visit CastleFordMichiganCity.com to view inventory and get financed.
Garwood, your U-Pick headquarters is open. Check the Garwood Facebook page daily to see what's available. In the U-Pick, peaches, red raspberries, tomatoes, bell peppers, pickles, hot and sweet peppers, apples, and more. In the Garwood Farm Market, Garwood sweet corn is at the lowest price of the season, $3.99 a dozen, $15 for a 4-dozen bag. Garwood peaches, U-Pick or ready picked. The season is short, don't miss out. Eggplant, 2 for $1.49, and they're back. Garwood red raspberries, $5.95 a pint, 4 pints for $20. Garwood blueberry donuts in the bakery, $6.95 a dozen. Michigan sweet cherries, $4.99 a pound. Also $1 off per jar of Garwood apple sauces, including old-fashioned transparent, Honeycrisp, or Evercrisp apple sauces. Great to eat out of the jar or top off your pork chops with it. Parkman ground beef, 1-pound packages, $1 off this week. Garwood Farm Market and Bakery, open daily from 9 until 6. You pick opens daily at 9, weather permitting. Check GarwoodOrchard.com, the Garwood Facebook page, or call Garwood for picking conditions and to find out what's available. Garwood's on 50 South Pass Pinola. And welcome to Auto Dealer Jeopardy.
Alex, can I have LaPorte Auto Dealers for 100, please?
This LaPorte dealer has been in the same family for nearly 50 years. Yes, Max.
What is LaPorte Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram?
That is correct.
Alex, I'll take LaPorte Auto Dealers for 200, please.
This dealer is the home of the lifetime powertrain warranty on nearly every new and pre-owned car they sell. Max again.
What is LaPorte Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram?
You are correct.
Hey, is LaPorte Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram the only answer?
Well, yes, they are. On Pine Lake Avenue or online at LaPorteChrysler.net.
Hey, Daddy, what's that?
Well, honey, that's the phone for the Liquor Vault on-air line.
That's a phone? But it's got wires and buttons.
Yeah, phones used to look a little different. When our listeners call 362-0522, we press those buttons to put the callers on sound off or tradio.
But where's the screen so you can see your text messages?
When someone texts 219-362-0522, it actually comes to that computer over there.
Your texts come to a computer? This place is weird.
The Liquor Vault on-air line is an number to call or text for Sound Off, Tradio, or to make a music request on 96.7 The Eagle. Brought to you by the Liquor Vault on Highway 35 in Kingsbury. Call or text the Liquor Vault on-air line 219-362-0522.
Your opinion matters. We invite you to share it by calling or texting the Liquor Vault on-air line at 362-0522. That's 362-0522. Now, back to Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle.
Welcome back, friends. Good to have you with us again on our final segment of Sound Off today. We're doing Sound Off on Sports, giving you a preview of the local high school football season and things like that. Here's a question we received. If you've got a question, 219-362-0522. You can call me or text me as well. Here's a question we received. What type of weapons will RJ have at LaPorte this season?
RJ will have a variety of running backs, and I don't have the roster. I don't have the roster in front of me. So, but they're going to be pretty well spread out offensively. I know
Nathan Dona, Kai Jones, Trey Bechtel.
Thank you. There you go. That was the trio, and and Bob called them Earth, Wind, and Fire that day. He was looking for a thunder and lightning reference, and I don't know who's Earth, who's Wind, and who's Fire there, but they're a fairly comparable group of kids in terms of their physical ability. They're not Colin Bergquist, who's just going to run you over and then separate from you defensively in the open field. He likes the receivers, and if you got the information there, you can
Drew
help
Flores,
me.
Ollie Kring, Gavin Garrett, and Dylan Salisbury.
Yeah, and he and the newcomer this year is. I was going to call him Andy, Tommy Samuelson.
Oh yeah, Tommy Samuelson.
And he's a kid that could be very interesting because he's 6'4", 6'5", faster than you would maybe think he was. Can elevate for the ball. He's a pretty athletic kid, and you see him in baseball, and you see him run. It's like, oh, I didn't think a kid could run like that. But you put him out there, you can isolate him. He can do some things. He can be a chains mover. Bob really likes Ollie Kring. He talked about him as maybe the preseason breakout guy, a guy who was not necessarily on the radar when things started, but he became he was pretty impressive. Another chains mover type of guy. He's gonna catch the ball in traffic. Get him in space. Has a wiggle to him. You don't have anybody running a 4.5 that's just going to go 80 in a snap. But again, you just stay ahead of the chains. 4 or 5 yards. Every play. You might not get that big play, that chunk play. Again, I think they'll be more horizontal than they will be vertical offensively. But RJ gets running around there. Maybe somebody coverages get broken and somebody slips out deep and they can hit someone like that, but you just don't have that burst guy, even like Jaden Parks was last year, year two. It's like you look at some of the skill guys they had last year. It was just really unfortunate because that season went down the drain because of what happened to RJ, and RJ had pieces around him, some guys that just needed that linchpin to bring it all together. And now those guys are gone. RJ's back. So, and again, he's the kind of kid who can elevate the people around him. But I don't think there's necessarily going to be an alpha back or receiver, a guy that's going to carry it more than 10, 12 times a game, or a guy that's going to catch more than 5 or 6 passes. You might have that in given games, but it won't be the same guy week in and week out. So which can be good too. You can't scheme for a particular guy. When you look at LaPorte, it's like, okay, who do we have to contain? Well, we have to get after the quarterback, the head of the snake type of thing. But if you're from the standpoint of backs or receivers, it's not necessarily, at least at this point, there isn't a guy that you're going to circle and say, okay, we've got to shade the secondary this guy's way, or really keep an eye out on for this guy coming out of the backfield.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here, Jim, and we're going to go through the 4 major teams here in LaPorte County that have football, and I'm going to have you predict their record.
Yikes.
And then at the end of the season, we're going to see how you did.
Yikes! Without their schedule in front of me.
That's the thing is, without it,
Oh boy, I'm earning my.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this! I got LaPorte's schedule in front of me.
Yeah, so LaPorte, for our listeners to know, starts off the season with New Prairie, then they go to Lowell, then we got Lowell, Valparaiso, Chesterton, Lake Central, Maryville, Crown Point, Michigan City, Portage. The DAC is going to be tough. You've got Maryville, a very, very tough team. They're just, they've got Colorado State commit. They've got a guy, Philip Rocha, has offers from Boston College, Cincinnati, IU. And they're just a good division. They've got Division I talent on that
it's
team.
almost Division I team.
Yeah. And so it's going to be tough. Chesterton, like you said, rebuilding a little bit, but Valparaiso has 6'6", 270 Matt Hofer, who's an offensive tackle that, Division I offers as well. So Lowell's always good. New Prairie's going to be solid. What do you think? What do you think? What do you predict for LaPorte?
All right, I'm going to go 3-6.
3-6, but improving.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and you put an asterisk by it now. If God forbid something happens to RJ, that all goes out the window. But the kid's due for an uneventful year, so I'm gonna guarantee that he's gonna be not gonna get hurt this year. But if there's such a thing as karma in sports, that kid deserves it. So
we are pulling for you, RJ. We hope that you do have an uneventful season. So let me give you a New Prairie schedule, and then you can tell me what you think. All right. Here we go. New Prairie starts the season with LaPorte, obviously. Then we got Goshen, Lowell, Mishawaka Marion, South Bend St. Joe, South Bend Adams, South Bend Riley, Penn, and then Elkhart.
I'll go 6-3.
You think they're gonna be 6-3? All right. You're inverting the LaPorte.
Yes. Yeah. Very good.
Now, do you want to
cross multiply?
Yeah. Do you want to though predict a winner between the New Prairie and LaPorte game?
I got destroyed last year by New Prairie. Bill Gum sought me out after the game like he was hunting me down about the prediction on that game because I made one somewhere.
Oh no!
Somebody, I think it was Twitter, and I took the bait and I said LaPorte, and boy he tracked me down like a pizza delivery guy. So after the game last year, so
it's fun. It's fun.
I never lived that one down. I mean, you know what? I mean, you have to err on the side of the team that was one play from going to the state finals.
I would say New Prairie probably has a stronger offense coming back. I think it's safe to say they're going to be putting up some points.
And we alluded to off the air, just their. LaPorte is going to be out of their minds, sky high for that game. Yeah, I know New Prairie will be too, but just the whole, it's Bob's first game, all that, and they want it's the milk can. We had this last night. The milk jug. I never get that right.
Yeah.
But they want the milk thing. Yeah. Right? So I'll get ripped for that tonight too at New Prairie.
I'm already canceled you, buddy.
That is so. But LaPorte's there isn't a kid in the program. Outside of this, you consider Robbie Schellinger a kid, and back when he was a player who have ever touched the thing. So New Prairie's had eminent domain of that here in recent years. But that's going to be a marker for LaPorte more so than it is New Prairie.
Final two. So Michigan City. Here's their schedule, starting with Warsaw. Lafayette, Jefferson. Is Bart Curtis still at Warsaw or no?
He is.
Okay, yeah,
boy, that's a heck of a guy.
Yeah.
Boy, but that 5 minutes spent with him is 5 minutes in interview heaven.
Well, Warsaw, Lafayette, Jefferson, Chesterton, Valpo, Maryville, Lake Central, Portage, LaPorte, Crown Point.
Okay.
So what do you think there?
I'm going to go 7-2.
7-2. So that's a good season for them. That's great. And then finally, let's see if I can find the
I'll tell you
South Central.
4 and 5. I already kind of looked at that one. So
okay. Yeah. So you think then? I mean, if they don't play each other, put New Prairie and Michigan City against each other, who wins that one? See, the nice thing is we're never going to know. They don't play each other. So.
Well, right. I mean, they scrimmaged tonight. They scrimmaged 2 times in the summer. The reason they do that is because they're so opposite of each other.
Yeah.
New Prairie's just like a mini Valpo. They're just going to sledgehammer you. in general, not to say they don't have speed guys or whatnot, but that's basically what their identity is: physical, tough, get right after you. Michigan City's going to be all over the field, stretching vertically, horizontally. So New Prairie gets that, so they're ready when they see Marion, when they see
some of the South Bend teams,
Elkhart. Probably Penn too. Yep. Penn's combination of that, but. I would just think last year Michigan City would have had a difficult time containing New Prairie's physical running game. But I just think Michigan, how do you defend speed?
Yeah.
So that would be my lean there.
Well, as always, good to have you in the studio again. Thanks so much for listening to today's show on football. We talked high school football on Monday. Tom Dermody, mayor of LaPorte, will be here, and then we'll have Friday. Sheila Matias will be here. LaPorte